Hey Minecraft fans, it's Collins, and today we are on the snapshot, playing around with some of the stuff that we have. Oh man, when these hoppers get released, AFK stream will be redefined. I love it. Anyway, we're here today to look at Tripwire. So, I noticed this when I was building a Tripwire trap. I actually built my end farm using Tripwire, based on some great videos from JL and his tripwire design, and based on some great stuff from watching DocM77's Enderman farm design. But today we're looking at Tripwire, and this works in I noticed it in 1.4.5, but I imagine it's been like this since Tripwire was released. And it still has the same issues in 1.4.7, and it still has the same issues in the latest snapshot, which when I am running 13W07A. And you can see if we put solid blocks underneath our tripwire hooks and our tripwire, everything works. If we leave air blocks underneath our hooks and our tripwire, everything works. So I go underneath this tripwire, the light comes on, and I can do the same over here, but I have jump boost because I was playing with beacons, but it does the same thing. And then we go over here. So if we have just a solid hook underneath the a solid block underneath the western hook, and air in the other two spaces, this does not fail. Or I mean, it does not work, it fails. And then it does this springy thing, so I call it springs, but you can kind of hear this twangy noise in the background periodically, if you can hear the background sounds. And what the twangy noise is it changes from this state to this state we're here, where the hook looks like it's unlatched. And it still actually works. So solid under east hook works, and you can see if we pass this latch, even though it looks unsprung, the tripwire still goes off, and then it looks sprung again. And then randomly, after some sort of random update, it turns back to looking unhooked, but still always works. You can see this just changed to unhooked, but this still works. And these do the same thing sometimes. They will spring and twang, but they do not work if the solid block is underneath the south. And the same thing we run into a north-south rule with two blocks underneath an air block on the other side. And this, if you extend this out and have 18 solid blocks in the middle and one solid block underneath that hook and air underneath that hook, it'll do the same thing. As you can see, we have the same design in the nether, and the same rules apply. And I've also set up the same design in the end, and it follows the same north-south rule, where sometimes it fails and sometimes it doesn't. So I looked for the issues with Tripwire on the official Minecraft bug tracker, and it looks like there is a bug MC-570, and there are several other bugs that are opened, and they have all been closed out with a resolution. And let me just read an exact quote from Dinnerbone. This is intentional behavior. Tripwire can be all floating or all grounded, but not a mixture of both. It behaves in subtly different ways depending on its suspension status, so it logically just cannot function while in a mixed state. So apparently, despite the fact that tripwire hooks do produce a redstone signal, they are not going to be fixed in the redstone update or any time after that. So as you saw, we didn't have any changes in the snapshot. I am back on the release, and all of these little bugs where sometimes it works this way but not that way, and where it makes a little twangy unsprung noise, are all in the 1.4.7 release, and apparently they've been that way since Tripwire was introduced. And they are all still in the snapshots, and there are no plans to update the redstone signal that Tripwire hooks put out in the redstone update. So if you're building a grinder or building some other trap where you're using Tripwire and Tripwire hooks, you need to be aware of how this functions. Hopefully you guys find this information useful. Hopefully Dinnerbone looks at this, or somebody from Mojang looks at this and realizes that saying that this is working as intended is definitely a bug. I think of it as a bug, even if Mojang doesn't call it a bug. And as you can see, these things, the ones that do work when they're in this mixed state, they do this twanging thing. And I imagine if you had too many tripwire hooks in your world where they're doing this update, that you would have either performance issues or crashing with your Minecraft game. But that's all I have for Tripwire today. Hope you guys find that informative, and thanks for watching my videos.